Okay, note cards. This is really the heart of your research. You found resources that you're going to use. Now you actually have to read them and compile the information together. Now, you might have a teacher who is telling you what your subtopics will be. You might be doing an independent project where your topic is different from the person next to you. And so you get to create your own topics. So I'm choosing to do a biography about Julia Child. If you're doing something where you're making your own subtopics, you're going to need to look at the directions that you have for what your project is, and also read a little bit about your topic, and then decide what are my subtopics. Most teachers ask for about 4 to 6 different subtopics. And so Julia Child is best known for being one of the first chefs on television cooking. She kind of revolutionized cooking. Um, just really kind of amazing. Like Food TV Network, she is kind of the one that started it all long ago, and it was very revolutionary what she did, and she took a lot of chances in doing what she did. But she had this crazy life before that. Like I said earlier in one of the videos, she didn't actually start cooking, and she didn't know how to cook until she was 31. After she got married, and she was living in Paris with her husband and needed something to do with her day, and ended up at a cooking school and ended up creating her own cooking school, and then coming to back to the United States. And when his career was kind of on the end of what he was doing, her career started. So really kind of some cool things. So I always think of it as life before being a chef, her life as a chef, the influence that she had on the world today. Those are some of the cool things. Also, noting some of her great achievements. And then, because this is my project is going to have some multimedia things, then I also want to include on the note cards links to some of the videos I might want to include in my project, or some of the images I want to include. So, looking at that, I'm going to kind of put my own little thing here. So my first topic would be life before cooking, like before being a chef. I guess if I'm making them titles, I'm going to capitalize it. Life as a chef, um, achievements, um, her influence, world, the world of cooking, but also just the world in general. Um, like I said, she was pretty revolutionary. And then I'm going to put media. Um, so I have 5 things here that I'm going to do. I could also put like her personal life, um, but I'm going to kind of interweave that in like life before being a chef and stuff like that. So you could get really specific, and you could have like subtopics underneath your topics. But your teachers probably aren't going to require you to be quite as detailed. So these are my 5. Now I'm going to open up, here I am in NoodleTools. I already signed in. I'm going to open up my project. I'm going to go to Notecards. So right now this is pretty blank, and you have to click on outline to open up outline. So, okay, and you double click life before being a chef. Okay, now I want a Roman numeral 2. I don't want a subtopic A. So I just make this blue, a single click, and then I use the arrow to move it over. I double click to change it. did I do? Okay, if I want to add something, I look for the plus button. Okay, so I'm going to add a topic, life as a chef, achievements. And I need a new one. It's a sibling. Influence on the world. And then finally, I want one that is just media. And media there being any photographs that I'm going to want to use, any links to videos. If I were doing this, my final project as a slide presentation, I definitely would want like a link to a video of her cooking one of her famous things. So I'm going to be thinking about that as well. Now that I have my outline, I can start writing some note cards. Now, I can open up my book and start writing them. So if I can go to my databases or my websites and find information. So here's kind of the cool thing. Like these two were books, so I can't really show you me reading the pages, but I can show you me looking at any of the magazines or the reference articles or the websites. I'm not going to open up the biography one because I don't want to hear all the videos going off. So I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to click here on this. It says view live web page. So if I click there, it's going to open a new tab and it's going to take me to my article, which makes it really nice. I don't have to like figure out where it is and how to find it. So I'm going to do what like a lot of people would say, you can't do that. I'm going to copy a whole paragraph from it. Okay, and just know this is from the St. James Encyclopedia Popular Culture. So I'm going to come over here to note cards. I'm going to click new note card. And in this note card, this is your digital note card. So there's quite a few things that you can do, but you're required to do exactly 3 of the many things on this page. So the first thing is you're finding your source. So I'm finding the one that's from St. James. Okay, now in here, I'm going to paste this paragraph. I'm going to delete it later. This is not going to be plagiarizing. I'm not copying and pasting. I'm going to look at this as a smaller chunk. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to, in my own words, put one fact. Or if I'm talking about like 3 things that are closely related, I could have like a topic and 3 bullets. But I'm going to come over here and actually write what I want for this note card. So in her early teenage years, Julia was head and shoulders taller than her friends. On her way to becoming a gigantic, rail-thin 6 feet 2 inches. Lithe and limber, an athletic teenager, enjoyed tennis, skiing, and other sports, and was the most active girl in her junior high school. When she graduated from 9th grade, however, her parents decided it was time for Julia to get a solid education, so they sent her to boarding school in Northern California. At Catherine Branson School for Girls, she quickly became a school leader. Known as her biographer Noel Riley Fitch writes, her commanding physical presence, her verbal openness, and her physical pranks and adventure. As head girl, Julia stood out among her classmates socially, if not intellectually. She was an average student whose interests chiefly lay in dramatics, sports, and whose greatest culinary delight was jelly donuts. But her education was solid enough to earn her, as the daughter of an alumna, a place at the prestigious Smith College in Massachusetts. Okay, so there's a lot of information. Do I need all of that for my particular project? Probably not. One of the things that was interesting to me, because I actually met her in person once, I just saw her on TV. I had no idea how tall she was. And when I met her, she was 90 and she was tall. So she was 6 foot 2 inches. Actually, I don't want to just use the same words that they're doing there. I gotta was an athletic woman who enjoyed sports. She was 6'2" tall. Okay, what is this telling me? Wait. Wow. It'll come up again soon. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put over here tall and athletic. Okay, so I'm going to say save and close. Now your title needs to be a keyword or phrase from what's actually in it. So when you're looking at that note card, you know what the note card is about. So I'm going to pick my source, St. James, popular culture. I can put this over here and it's say to a private boarding school in Northern California. Okay. For high school. Whoop. Okay, I probably should put the name of the boarding school. Does it give me the name? Okay. Catherine. An all girls school. She actually lived in Pasadena, California. Okay, so I'll say boarding school. Save and close. Oh, they fixed that. These used to come out one on top of the other. And then you couldn't, when you think you had 5 note cards and you look on here and you would just see 2 or 1. It was really kind of tough. Okay. Picking my source. Okay. 2. I don't think it tells us what she graduated with. Let's see. Let me go back and look. Leadership, adventure, solid education. Okay, she returned home. So it doesn't really tell us what her degree was in. Okay, I might find that on another. Might find that in another source. Okay, save and close. Okay, now I did see something really interesting here. So, okay, it says, this is a quote from her. Julia would later remark, middle-class women do not have careers. You were to marry and have children, be a nice mother. You didn't go out and do anything. Okay. I'm going to come over here in note cards. Pick my source. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave that in here as a direct quotation because this is something that she actually said. And everything that she did was kind of revolutionary. When she started her career on TV, I think it was in the 1950s, women didn't do that. And her husband kind of gave up his career so she could do that. She actually never did have children. So there was a lot that she did that was very contrary to what things were in society. So I'm going to say, quote about women and careers. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that in here in the direct quotation and say save and close. Okay, now it's time to kind of look at our outline and what are we going to do with all of these note cards. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my outline. And so tall and athletic, that kind of, it's more of a personal thing. But when I'm going to talk about it, I'm probably going to be talking about that because that was life before being a chef. She went to high school and then college. And then her quote about careers. I'm going to put this here as life as a chef because I might be talking about like how what she chose to do was different and then slip that quote in right there. Later, if I decide it doesn't fit there, I can move it. But I'm going to kind of keep it right there. So notice like when I come over here to sources, if I come back to note cards, my outline went away. Okay, so it just does that. You have to click to show the outline. You could move your note cards all over. You can organize them. There's this little section here is really big. You're only looking at a portion of it. You can also organize your note cards by creating piles. So I'm going to title this Life Before Being. I am just having trouble typing today. So I can put all those things in there. So I could create piles that are the same here as what's there. One of the differences and the reasons why you're going to create the outline and not just have piles, you can't really control like the order. Let's see, does it let me change them around? Okay, it does. Before it would not let you change the order around. So when you go to print your piles, it would basically print before it would print them in the order you wrote them in and put them in the pile. And that's not always the order that you want in your writing. When you come over here and you use the outline, you can visually see your thinking and where things go. So let me show you. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to show you two different examples of students who have done this correctly and students who have not. Okay, so we'll start with the bad example. Okay, so this is Ron Weasley. And he started his project on Lin-Manuel Miranda. He just has two sources. And we go into the note cards and we look at the outline. So he came up with early life, education, career, and achievements, which is fine for this particular thing. But as the teacher looking in and trying to see your thinking and to see if you are able to take a bunch of different information from multiple sources and put it in an order that makes sense, how can the teacher tell looking at your titles? Early life 1, early life 2, early life 3. It could just be that that's the order you wrote them in, and it may or may not be the correct order. So most of these things should be in chronological order, but how do we know? So it doesn't show your thinking, and your teacher could mark you down for that. If I was your teacher, I definitely would. Okay, so we go out. Of course, Hermione is doing it correctly. So she has 2 projects. So we'll look at the Gray Wolves. I'll look at both, but we'll look at the Gray Wolves because it has more note cards. So here's her progress so far. She's got 4 different sources. Okay, so she has description of wolves, how they help the ecosystem, how they hinder the ecosystem, and solutions. And then as she actually has what they are, like description of wolves, what they are, where they live, their hunting patterns, endangered status, and then how they help the ecosystem. There's maintaining balance and how they hinder it. So it's a little more nuanced in how she has it. And then if you look, um, you can see what the titles are. It's not like what they are 1, what they are 2, what they are 3. So let's just, that one's an image. So pack animals, just open one up. So pack animals, it came from this source right here. Wolves live in packs, 5 to 10 wolves led by the alpha male. They're social creatures and communicate by whining, yipping, growling, and howling. Notice it's not an entire paragraph. It's just 1 to 2 sentences per note card. Okay, so definitely a much, this is what your teacher wants to see. You're thinking that's on there, and your teacher does not want to see an entire paragraph per note card. So let me just go back into Ginny Weasley. To do a note card, you're going to take one of your sources. I'll do the Botanical School one. You can open it up. It takes you directly there. You're going to grab a little something. You're going to come over here. You're going to go to your note cards. It's a new note card. You pick your source. This one is Encyclopedia Britannica. You can paste what you have here, but then over here in your own words, you're going to take one fact, 1 to 2 sentences about it, and you're going to put that in there. So I will do is born on August 15th, 1912. Well, it's the year that the Titanic sunk. Okay. Born. Oop. She died on 15th, 2004. Yeah, she lived in Santa Barbara the last part of her life. Okay, and August. And they're going to want a comma after that. I love it. They're helping you with your grammar on here. Okay, so birth and now I love to use the little symbols for and. This won't let you use any special characters in the title. So just letting you know. Birth and death. See if we had something that was like personal information, we could put that. I'm going to probably start with this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that, but I'll have that be the first bit of information that I have. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in that pile. So basically that's what you're doing. You're going to be going through your different sources. You're going to create your subtopics. You want 4 to 6 different subtopics. Let me show you one more thing now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. Julia Child, and I'm going to want an image. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and grab image address. And then NoodleTools, note cards. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and make the note card, but then I'm going to have to create a source for the image. Okay, picture, and what's the URL? I'm going to say okay, and it's going to find it for me. Okay, I don't have the source yet. Save and close. For every piece of media that you use, video, images, things like that, you really should have a source for it. I know we're not used to doing that, but when you start to do research papers, I recently went back to get my credential to become a librarian, and for every project, every single thing I used had to be sourced. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little web page here. Okay, so now I gotta go back here. I gotta open up to the page of it's for my Wikipedia. I wonder, right, let me go back here. Does it do? I thought I had something different. Okay, so I'm gonna have to source this page for Wikipedia for the picture, and so I would go and create that in there. Okay, so let me grab the URL here. Julie, let me close the things I'm not doing. Okay, my URL. Tell me when it was last updated. Okay. This January 6, 2022. January 6, 2022. Most recent date of access. It's not going to give one person's name, so I am not even going to attempt to do that. The title of this is Julia Child. Okay, the website is Wikipedia, and the publisher is looking down here. Wikipedia Foundation. Oh, Wikimedia Foundation. Okay. And then I say save. I might have to explain to my teacher that I'm just using it for the image. So now let me go back to my note card. I can double click to open it up. And now I need to find the Wikipedia. Save and close. And I'm going to put this under media. I can move it out of the way too. There you go. So the majority of your research is going to be writing information down in note cards, organizing it, putting it in order that makes sense, so that when it is time to go and write your paper, you can do that. So I will show you in another video how to import things to your Google Drive. Good luck!